Hello. All I can say is holy shit. All I can say is holy shit. So, I'm not crying. I just actually got out of the shower and I got soap in my eye. Hello, everyone. Um, all I want to say is, holy shit, I've really hit a nerve today, I believe. Um, wow. AD talks all the time about people attacking him and this, that, and whatnot. I just want to read some of the comments from some of AD's loyal fans. Now, remember, he always gripes about people attacking him, so keep that in mind. So, a lady named Carol Bogdanowitz, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Of course, she did call me mentally retarded, so I might have that wrong. But she says brawn. Oh, let me go back to the first of it here, because these are some really, I was literally shocked at some of the stuff people were saying. Okay, Carol Bogdanowitz. The last name is spelled Bogdanowitz, just in case I'm pronouncing it wrong. And she writes, "You people are pathetic. Jealous bitches. Your accent is terrible. Decide. You can't do English, Australian, and Southern." I thought I could. "You're a fat hipster. Trying to be funny is so cringe." And then she says, let's see, it's really bad. She says, "What are you, a 16-year-old in 1989? You're young and fat, which means every year you'll get fatter. I feel like I'm dealing with an intellectually compromised person." Okay, what's worse? Calling me intellectually compromised or saying these awful things about an intellectually compromised person? And I even said, she says she's far, far more intellectual than I am. And I respond, "You're far superior than me intellectually, yet here you are arguing with me. How does it feel picking on a mentally challenged person? Way to go, Carol." And then we have a guy named Detective Halverson. Let's see what he writes. He got pretty nasty too. But anyway, guys, just to make my point, I'm doing a parody of AD, okay? Which means I'm imitating him with the intentions of being humorous and funny. That's what a parody is. People say I'm mocking him or bashing him. That's not true. A parody is when you imitate with the intentions of being humorous. So he's always talking about people bashing him and doing all this crap to him, yet his followers come and attack me, call me fat, retarded, say I can't do Southern, Australian, and English at the same time. okay? And then I don't get that. I mean, what is worse? Calling me retarded or arguing with somebody that has a mental um, disorder? I don't know what it's called nowadays. You say something and everybody gets offended. But anyways, I used to like AD's channel. And until it's every day the same thing. I'm not getting paid to do YouTube videos. Um, yes, I put, um, give me money. All I care about is shenanigans. That's not the truth. You went on to other content and nobody watched it, so you went back to your cash cow. I'm not trying to do English accent, truth seeker. Please stop. Why are you here? Why don't you go watch something else? I don't get that. If you don't like what's on, don't watch it. It's as simple as that, man. I just think it's ironic that, AD talks about people always coming on and attacking him, and then all of his people come and attack me and call me fat and mentally retarded. Oh, believe me, Cynthia, R. People really do need to lighten up. See you, bud. Take care. How's everybody doing tonight? Um, yeah, they also said I was doing the videos in my mother's garage. At least I'm not going around buying a drink and stealing Wi-Fi from a hotel, right? But there were a lot of comments. I just thought they're not going to upset me, really. I just thought you guys might find it a little bit humorous, the fact that they're pissed off at me for acting like AD, but yet AD is like that in real life. So they're pissed off at me for acting like him, but they're not pissed off at him for actually being him. Do they not realize how much that doesn't make sense? Just kind of a question. I didn't really understand it, but I'm mentally challenged. All right, so I don't want to burn the armpit detective out. And another thing, guys, I never gotten super chat. I wouldn't even know how to get super chat if somebody gave it to me. I don't know. I have a Patreon account, but and don't get me wrong, I appreciate you, the person that's there. I only have one patron. So, I mean, they're getting upset over my channel with 200, and believe me, I love every one of you guys. 200 and however many subscribers there are. So, I don't know. I just thought it was funny that they would do that. But I really did think the parody last night was funny. The glasses I thought was really good. I actually did that with Scotch tape, and what had happened was I had actually had to put I doubled up the Scotch tape on top of each other, and I thought, well, this is going to look really bad. But what happened is it actually, I can't even talk, looked like I had bifocals. The only thing that was bad was I couldn't see out of them, so I had to keep raising them. Of course, I've got them right here. When I was looking at the screen, I had to keep going like this so I could see what was being said. So it was a little bit. Oh, by the way, I don't drink, guys. It is A&W root beer. I actually don't drink, so delicious. Cynthia R. Very so true. Very so true. To me, he acts like his subscribers should be thankful that he took the time out of his day to come on and address them. When in reality, it should be the other way around. He should be thankful, because he says, YouTube doesn't pay him anymore. And like I said, I used to like his channel. I watched him every day. But every day it was the same thing. YouTube no longer pays me. Become a Patreon. I know stuff about this case I can't tell you here, but if you join my Patreon, I'll tell you. I mean, just almost every day, like begging for money. And it just started getting to me. I'm like, if he really cared about, the people that's in this case, why does he keep talking about money? If you donate Super Chat to him, he actually acknowledges you. And if you don't, he doesn't speak to you. Guys, I want you to know this, and you can go back and look at every one of my comments. I have responded to every comment I've got, even the negative ones. And I don't delete the negative ones either. So, your opinion here, whether good or bad, I respect it. So I just don't understand how you can dislike me for acting like him, but you don't really dislike him for actually being him. Hi, Bebop. Glad to have you. Hope you enjoy. A lot of times I do parodies. I got a parody of what I do. I make fun of Armchair Detective. Well, I'm not going to say make fun. I do a parody of Armchair Detective called Armpit Detective. And hello, Kimberly. I hope you like it. Check out my other videos. And if you subscribe, sometimes I come on as actually myself. Tonight, I'm actually myself, Braun Moxley. So, and of course, I'm fat, as you can see. That's what they told me today. And so it just blew my mind that I really struck a nerve with people that badly over. I mean, guys, it's YouTube. Calm down. Really, for real. Think about it. And one person said that I had no respect for the murders that occurred. I'm simply parodying somebody that talks about the murders every day. So is it me that doesn't have respect, or is it the guy I'm parodying that doesn't have respect for the murders? Somebody told me today in a message that AD is really aggravating Frank Rusek, to the point of just aggravating him to death. He wrote that letter to him. A lot of his subscribers were crying, saying, oh God, Kim Wilkin, same thing. When I comment, my comments don't show up because I call him out. The lady that was, really put me down earlier, Carol Bogdanowitz or whatever her name was, she kept commenting on there. And I said, you need to donate some money to him so he'll acknowledge you. And I even said on there, I said, hey, Carol, you said this awful crap about me, but at least I acknowledged you, and you were saying terrible things about me, and yet I still acknowledged you, and he didn't acknowledge you at all. So I think we all have something in common, guys. The people that really see through him know what he's about. He says he helps people, this, that, and the other. He's done other content. Somebody told me I needed to get my own content. And I was like, Armchair doesn't have his own content. He's been going on these murders for a year now. So, I portray a character on my channel, and then I also do myself. Trust me, when I watch him on a computer and the things that he can't do, and then he persuades people that he's this detective that can solve these high-profile cases and that he can make these videos. I don't believe it at all. And I don't see... Oh, Missy Jane, I know exactly, that's right. He goes back to his cash cow. And if doing a parody of... Oh, I think so too. I've talked about the Savannah Spurlock case. I've talked about the Crystal Rogers case. I've talked about the Watts case, not as much as AD. Then I've done the parodies of AD. I knew what you meant, Kimberly. It's not a big deal. And did you guys go check out the Crystal Rogers case any? Because, like I said, that happened like just an hour and a half from my hometown. Oh, I know, and believe me. And then they talk about attacking people, and yet you wouldn't believe how bad I was attacked today. But to me, it will not offend me. I'm not. They don't hurt my feelings. I know people probably thought I was crying when I first came on, but I seriously had just gotten out of the shower, and I got a little soap in my eye, so I wasn't trying to act like I was crying like somebody did when they supposedly read a letter to someone. AD's overwrought emotions are so misplaced as he didn't know these people that he sobs over as though his own family. The video tonight about you're going to get tired of this. Chris was a little bit taller, NK was a little bit smaller. You cannot make that comparison by putting those two videos side by side. If they're off by just the smallest amount, he would look taller. And also, in the right picture that he's saying Chris Watts is taller in, he had on boots with heels in that picture that he was pointing out, to which the other picture did not have the boots with heels on. And I don't get how people say that they can see that this other person has a female's butt and breasts, boobs like a woman, and a ponytail. I don't see all this stuff. I mean, I don't know if I have tunnel vision where I'm looking too hard, but he can dox me all he wants. I'll tell everybody my real name and my address. I'm telling you right now, it would be their last mistake if they came to my house. But he doesn't have to dox me. I'll tell everybody who I am. I don't really give a shit. Hello, son. How are you? And Antoinette, it really is. Crystal and her dad, it's just a sad, sad case. I don't know what's going on in Barstown. It just seems like inside corruption or, 4 cases in, it's going on, I guess, 6 years now, because it all started in like 2013. But you would think that with a police officer being murdered, if any of them was solved, that would be the one that would be, because they, police officers ought to always try to solve their own crime. And, of course, they haven't solved that one. They said there's no leads. And then, of course, Crystal Rogers, they said her dad was getting too close. And, he was killed in the field as a hunting accident. What they tried to portray as a hunting accident, nobody ever fell for it. Because in the tree line that ran along the Bluegrass Parkway next to the Ballard's property, Tommy Ballard, someone had taken some kind of shrubbery trimmers and trimmed out a hole where, they could see. They thought actually that down here, down the road a little piece was the lookout, maybe with binoculars, and then down further this way was actually where the rifle, because there was a mark on the tree where the rifle had actually, did its recoil. So it's just terribly. Yeah, and the police officer, it's really odd about the police officer named Ellis. I can't think of his first name now. His last name was Ellis, but in Richmond, Kentucky, where I live, there was a Daniel Ellis who was a police officer who was killed in 2015. That case is actually solved. The perpetrator is in prison for life. Listen at this case, guys. When the police officer was killed here in Richmond, it was obviously drugs. We have a big drug problem here in Kentucky. Well, these three people, two guys and a girl, had went and robbed a Shell gas station, or a Gulf. It might have been a Gulf. It was either a Shell or a Gulf at the time, and vice versa. It's the other now. So it was a Gulf then and a Shell now, or a Shell then and a Gulf now. I can't remember which one it was. But they robbed this gas station, and this happened in November of 2015. Okay? They already had leads right off the bat. They knew who done it. They got the address of where these people were. Okay? The two guys told the other guy, they said, don't let those cops in. We're going to go hide in the back bedroom. If you let the cops in, I'm going to kill one of them. That's what he told the guy answering the door. The guy answered the door anyway and told the police officer, Daniel Ellis, that no one was in the home with him, which he knew that they was back there laying in wait for them. Well, the officer said, can we search? And of course, he said yes. So as they're going back through the house, the guy is actually back there with his gun, waiting. And as the officer Ellis walked past the door, the Sizemore guy shot Officer Ellis in the head. And he actually lived for 2-3 days, I believe it was. And then, I'm not sure if he passed away on his own or if his wife took him off of life support. But it's really sad. He's got a young widow now. He had a son that was like 7 years old at the time. If you do some research on this case, there's not much on YouTube, but you can actually see he's got a picture you can pull up. It's his son sitting on his police motorcycle, and it's really sad. The police chief actually retired after this happened because he couldn't no longer take it. You know, this was the last thing. He was close to retirement anyway, but when this happened, he actually went ahead and retired. And he spoke at Daniel Ellis's funeral, and he started crying, and he said, you know, I told the other guys when we hired Officer Ellis that I said, we haven't hired a good cop here today. We hired a great cop. I know, Missy Jane, how can she be on the phone for 1 hour and 10 minutes, or 1 hour and 11 minutes, in the truck with the blacked out windows by CNN, hiding in the truck, in the basement hid out? It's just, how can she be in so many different places? In my opinion, whether it was directly or indirectly, I think Chris Watts had help in doing this. And if you don't know what I mean by that, let's just say perhaps NK had said, hello, Mike Brown, how are you? Let's just say perhaps that NK had said, you know, you need to take care of this. And if you don't take care of this, then I'm hitting the road and there's no hope for me and you, okay? Now, most guys who aren't evil monsters would be like, okay, see ya. They would try to patch things up with their wife. They might even admit to it to their wife and say, I done something wrong. Here's what I done. Can we work past it? But if you're an evil monster and you have a certain personality that's not what, and you know, to each person, normal is different. But let's just say for what 90% of the world defines as normal. He said, oh God, you know, she's giving me sex 4 or 5 times a day. She lets me be me. I've never met anyone like her. I can be myself around her. She's pursuing me. That's never happened in my life. And if I don't fix my situation, then me and her is done. And she's told me that she wants to give me the only first they had left was for NK to give Christopher Watts a son. So if he doesn't kill Shanann, or in the pregnancy, then him and NK cannot have that first. You see what I'm saying with that? That's what I think. So, and then again, someone could have been there and physically helped him. I don't know. I, honest to God, don't know. I wish I did. If I had the answers, AD wouldn't have his channel for a year doing what he's doing. But anyway about it, and Chris has even said, he found the shadows of January and told him. Yes, he keeps saying, and this is what aggravates me, he's saying that nobody showed them on YouTube, that he discovered them. Just because you didn't show them on YouTube doesn't mean that she didn't discover them. I've spoken to Diane, the original Shadow Lady, and me and Diane has talked. And Diane's told me that she was one of AD's biggest fans, one of his biggest supporters, and that she discovered the shadows and took them to him for his advice on, look at this. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you not seeing what I'm seeing? And so forth. Well, supposedly, AD boots her to the curb, blocks her, makes the video of the shadows, and has taken credit since day one. Thank you, Antoinette. I really appreciate that. So, bye, Mike. I hope you watch later, and appreciate all you guys. And yeah, Son Ray, I agree completely. And he talks about he's going to write a book, and he can do a better documentary. He's also told his subscribers that part of his Patreon money is he's going to make a documentary series with. Well, if I was one of his Patreon people, I would be really pissed off if I'm giving this guy money and then there's not a documentary series released. He calls all these other documentaries, crap. Says he can do so much better, but I haven't seen anything from him. I think it's, and what about the other night? Did you guys catch this when he was saying, why does Shirley and Cato call the book Letters from Christopher when his name is Chris? And I mean, he went over this and over this like 4 or 5 times. Did you guys catch that? Because I just thought that was so odd that he would say, why is the book called Letters from Christopher when his name's Chris? Chris is short for Christopher. And this guy has all these freaking 43,000 people, which I don't believe he has 43,000 subscribers. Oh, I know. I know, Kim. Actually, me and Diane was talking, and I actually helped her get the domain name armchair.detective.com, or it might be .net. But anyway about it, he cannot strike her or copyright strike her for that name because she actually owns the website domain. Yeah, that was just so bizarre to me. It's like, why is the book called Letters from Christopher when his name's Chris? I mean, you tell all your subscribers you're this high-tech detective, and you can't figure out that Chris is short for Christopher? Really? I mean, I'm not the brightest guy in the world. I don't think I'm mentally challenged like some of the people said earlier today, but shit. I mean, I think I know that much anyway. But another thing, guys, is I have a Patreon and I'll never ask for any money. But just so you know, last week I couldn't come on very much because I have a full-time job. I really do. So I'm not going to beg you guys to pay my rent. I'm not that kind of guy. But last week and this upcoming week, I'm working second shift. So I'm not going to be on. Like, I know my channel's new and I'm trying to build it and make it bigger, but after this upcoming week I'll be on day shift permanently. I'll actually have really good banker's hours, 9:15 to 5:45, and I'm in the Eastern U.S. time zone, so I'll either make a video that evening and upload it, or if it gets good enough, I can go live with you guys at night, whatever you want to do. Yeah, Missy, it's really sad that he honestly thinks that, like, he's told someone if anyone says the name Armchair Detective, he'll have him copyright struck, and I just, no. I've used it many times for Armchair Detective Parody, and I've never been Eastern too. Whereabouts are you at, Antoinette? I'm actually in Kentucky. I am in the UK, the University of Kentucky. No hiding place. So be honest, guys. What do you think about the glasses? I think they're great, but the only thing about them is I can't see out of them. So when I have them on, I can't read the screen to see what you guys say. So maybe if I'm making a video to upload it, I'll be able to wear them. But if I'm doing this live, actually it's Brian Moxley, I probably won't be able to wear them because I can't see the screen. South Carolina. Ooh, I actually used to work at a place called Train Manufacturing. I worked on what was called the coil line, and the place actually closed the line down, and they moved the company to Columbia, South Carolina. I don't know if you know where that's at or know the company. The company is Train Manufacturing, if you do. But they left up here and went down there probably around 2003. And then last year, they actually moved the rest of the plant, and they completely closed down the one that's here in, it's one county north of me in Lexington. I live near Columbia. So you probably know where I'm talking about then. It's called Train Manufacturing. They make I'm sure you've heard of Train air conditioners. They actually made the large commercial size ones. Some of these were so big that when they installed them in the buildings, they actually had to take a helicopter and land them on top of the building. I don't know, Missy. I think, as unpopular as this probably is, the economy's been growing since Obama was in office. Trump is a lot like, I know people love Trump, and I'm not going to dog on Trump. I don't think he's done as bad as a job as I thought he would do. But Trump is a lot like Armchair Detective. He likes to take credit for stuff he didn't do, and he likes to brag all the time. So take that for what it's worth. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree, but hey, we're all adults here. We can disagree, right? Smoky Mountains. The Smoky Mountains are nice this time of year, aren't they? Boy, the colors in those mountains sure really look good, don't they? You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we just up and road trip to, what is it, Gatlinburg? Not Gatlinburg, but have you been to the, it's called East something Alcatraz Museum, Kimberly? You know what I'm talking about? I went down there and actually went to that. It is really a neat place. It has the Volkswagen Beetle that one of them, was it, which criminal drove that Volkswagen Beetle? I'm drawing a blank right now. And they have that on display, and they just have a lot. It's been a couple years since I went, so I'm drawing blanks on what's actually there, but that is really a cool place to go. Oh, really? Ted Bundy, yes, Ted Bundy. I couldn't think of, every time I'm on here, I'm so nervous and I can't think of anything. I don't know why that is, but hopefully over time I'll calm down. But Ted Bundy, I went to that a couple years ago. It was like $10 to get in. I mean, it was amazing. You know, they had cells set up at the time, just like you was in like a prison, looking in at the guys and stuff. I mean, it was really cool. They had the Volkswagen Beetle sitting off there on display. Yeah, the Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge. That's it, Pigeon Forge. That's what I couldn't think of. It's called East something Alcatraz, I believe. Um, I know it's got Alcatraz in it, and I believe it's got East in it, but I'm not sure what the rest of it is. But it's really, really neat. If anybody gets a chance to go to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and check out that East Alcatraz, it is something to see. It's really worth the time. I think we stayed in there for like 2-3 hours. It was just interesting. I actually wanted to go back and made a plan on going back to it because, you know, I heard they updated a lot, and I just wanted to check it out recently and see what's up with that now. And I came on last week and told you guys about the, are you talking about, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been watching it on YouTube. The prison they've turned into the tourist attraction. Oh, something mountains. So, what is the name of that? But they had the prisoners doing the coal mining back in like the 19-teens and 20s. Is that the one you're talking about? And then the prisoners actually built the prison, and then it had an electric chair in it, and they never used it. What was that called? I know you're going to tell me, and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that's it. It was right on the tip of my tongue. But I watched the YouTube video where they had the two women sitting at the picnic table, and they were talking about it being turned into a tourist attraction. Yeah, Brushy Mountain. I knew as soon as you said it, I would think of it. I don't know what I was saying. I knew it was something prison, but Brushy Mountain Prison. Wow, that place really has a reputation. And if you type that in on YouTube, there is just video after video after video about that place. And man, and like the guy that jumped from like the so many stories up to his death, right there in like the catwalk or whatever it was, that story on that guy, man, that was, and people said that he just splatted, and they said that, you know, the mountains are all around the prison, and that anybody that tried to escape, that the landscape around the prison was so rough that after just a couple, 3 hours, they were ready to give up and turn themselves back in. It is root beer, not beer. I don't drink. Which one are you talking about, Antoinette? The Brushy Mountain Prison or the East Alcatraz that's in Pigeon Forge? Either one of them is a great thing. Now, the East Alcatraz is something to go to. The Brushy Mountain Prison, do you know how much that costs, Kimberly, to get into that as a tourist attraction? I know they sell moonshine and everything there. They've got their own still set up. Yeah, James Earl Ray, the most famous person ever to be in Brushy Mountain, killed Martin Luther King. And didn't he die there, though? He ended up dying there. $10 to get in Brushy Mountain. That's pretty good. I do know that they have like the moonshine tasting thing there too, where you can go in and sample all the different kinds of moonshines they have, and then you can decide which one you want to take home with you. But I guess if you really wanted to, if you was a moonshine drinker, you could just sit there and taste test all day long and get good and drunk off of just tell them you want to taste test all the moonshines they have to offer. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Tennessee's famous for shine, and Kentucky is too. Georgia. I always liked that show, the Dukes of Hazzard. Did you ever watch that? And I liked that. You know, it was about running moonshine, and I watched that as a kid, and I actually bought all the DVDs recently to watch. And I mean, it takes me back when I watch it. I think about being a kid, and it takes me back. But you know, guys, I want to talk about something earlier that happened. You know, Detective Halverson. That, and I know he's loyal to AD because I've seen him on his channel. I've seen him comment 1,000 times. And oh yeah, I love the song Copperhead Road. Great song. But this Detective Halverson guy, he told me, he said, that I had no respect for Shanann and the family, and that I was making fun of the murders. I want everyone to know that my parody of AD is in no way a disrespect to Shanann or the kids, or am I making fun of the murders or don't have a conscience for doing that. I am simply making a parody of Armchair Detective, and that's it. And if people are that upset that I am acting like him, then they should be more upset to the fact that he's like that in real life. Do they not see that? They're getting mad at me for acting like him when he's really like that. I don't. And yet they all think they're so damn smart. And which I'm sure a lot of them probably are smart. Like I said, I used to like the channel. I think I'm a little bit smart. And that's another thing, guys. One lady called me today, called me mentally retarded. And then she argued with me for about 16 more comments. And I even asked her in the comments, I said, you realize you're calling me mentally retarded, but yet you're arguing with me. And I said, do you realize how stupid that sounds, that you are arguing with a mentally retarded person? And then, of course, she didn't comment anything after that, which I thought it was a good point. What's worse, calling someone mentally retarded, or then thinking you're smarter because you're arguing with them, that you really think they have a mental defect? It just makes... But anyway, I wanted to go over that. Guys, I have no disrespect. When I watch those videos of Shanann and those kids, it breaks my heart. It is so sad. Did not need to happen. Should not have happened. If you meet a girl and you guys are having sex 5 times a day and it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, don't kill your family. Get divorced and move on and have a happy life. If NK loves you as much as she claimed and as you thought, she made good money too. You made good money. She would have helped you with your bills if they were that bad, to help get you out of that situation, if you were in so much love that you say you were. That's my opinion on it. But guys, I have a daughter that's 13 years old. And I'm telling you right now, if Miss America walked in here and she had a vagina that was made out of gold and she pissed platinum all day long, I would never harm the first hair on my daughter's head for her. It wouldn't happen. So whether NK was directly or indirectly involved, we still have to blame Chris Watts in the end, because he's still the one that took out his family for this reason. Whether he did it with help or did it without help, whether he called the shot for it to happen. He's the one who disrespects. Do you know he actually thanks Shanann for growing his channel? Oh yeah, I seen that video where he said, what if one of the Ruseks have a police record and that gets released? That's almost like blackmail. He's dirty. I don't think he has 43,000 subscribers. The math doesn't add up. If you've got 43,000 subscribers and you never have more than 10,000 views, then you probably don't have that many subscribers. And I don't really understand it. I'm not tech savvy. I can't even make my own videos. I do everything in one take. I either go live or I make a video in one take and I upload it. But my son, he's pretty smart with this stuff. Well, he told me that you can mirror accounts. It's where an account simply looks like another account. Nobody owns it, but yet you can take that account and subscribe to a channel. You see what I'm saying? There's an account that's mirrored. It belongs to no one, so no one's going to know that their account's being mirrored. and then they take that account and subscribe to AD's channel. Oh, Kimberly M., I agree completely. You know, Chris Watts' mother defends him, you know, still insists and believes that Shanann killed the babies. And my God, just say my son is a monster. You know, she's even said she missed signs of things being wrong with him as a teenager, never having a girlfriend, always sitting in the back of the room. She came out and said that at church she would go past the bathroom and he would be in there begging God to forgive him for what he had done. Now, as a teenager, what's he begging God to forgive him for that he's done? Did he torture an animal? Did he kill an animal? I don't know. But as a teenager, I know I can remember being a teenager. Of course, it's been many years ago. But if you're begging God to forgive you for something, you've obviously done something pretty bad. And they missed the signs, a lot of the signs. I think even Shanann missed signs that he had problems actually a lot deeper than anyone would ever thought. Because I think if you went back before this murder happened, let's say you went back to August 12th, and none of this has happened, none of these channels are out, the murders hasn't happened, and you watch all of these videos, do you guys still think we could say that day, that guy's going to kill his family tomorrow? I don't think we could have seen it, even going back. I don't. I think he was that well disguised in what he was doing. Yeah, Kim Wilkin, I watch, and I'll be honest with you, I watch every night. And I do this because where I parody him, you know, he gives me my material. Now, I know a lot of his subscribers call me out and say I don't have my own content, but he's not parodying himself. So in a way, I do have my own content. It's parodying Armchair. You know, I have 235 subscribers when I started this live. Hopefully it goes up. But I know that all 235 of you are real. I didn't buy any of you guys. None of you are mirrored. And so I know that all 235 of you guys subscribe to me because you either like the real Bron Moxley or you like the character Armpit Detective. So it's one of the two. And if you don't like it, you can jog on. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Missy. Kimberly, that's I couldn't imagine being in that situation, being held hostage. I was a pizza driver when I was 18 years old, and I'm not comparing this to your story at all, Kimberly, don't get me wrong. I just want to let you know that the closest thing I can relate to what you went through is when I was a pizza driver. I was 18 years old. I got robbed, and I actually took the pizza up to the apartment the first time, and nobody answered the door. Well, as soon as I got back to the restaurant, the manager told me I needed to take that pizza back, and I told her, I said, I just went there, nobody answered the door. They said, yeah, they was in the bathroom, they just missed you. So I go back up there, go to the same door, knock, nobody comes to the door again. And as I walk out, I have to walk on the other side of this truck to get back in my car. This guy with a ski mask jumps out and hits me in my shoulder and in my back with a baseball bat. I was scared crapless, I ain't gonna lie. So I'm not comparing that to your story, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, look at my story compared to yours. I'm simply just saying the closest I could relate to what you went through would be that, and it was terrifying to me. So, yeah, and the guy that hit me with the ball bat, there was 3 other guys standing around, and thank God they didn't do anything. It was just the one guy that done it. And this woman ended up being out on her balcony, and she had a gun, and she thought it was just a fight. She didn't realize it was a robbery. And she fired her gun off up in the air and said, hey, you guys, break that fight up down there. which, like I said, she didn't realize it was a robbery, but in the end, she realized that she had stopped a robbery and possibly a murder. And, I didn't. When they say pizza drivers don't have that much money, they really don't. So when you rob a pizza driver, the most you're going to get is like a pizza and $20 in change. And if you get caught, especially if you hit somebody with a ball bat, that's going to be felony strong armed robbery. And you're going to give up a lot of your years in life for a pizza and $20 in change. Most people would give you $20 if you went up and said, I'm so desperate, I'm getting ready to rob somebody, I need $20. Most people would probably give you $20 to keep you from robbing somebody. I mean, I know I would. I came by your channel and liked what you had to say. Well, I appreciate that, Bebop. Oh, Kimberly, I knew you wasn't comparing yours to Siobhan's either. I guess in life we all go through our own things, and it's always worse. Somebody's always went through something worse than what you've went through. But you know what I mean? At the time, to you, it was the worst thing happening, because in that moment, if you're getting ready to die, what else can be worse than that, right? I've written and copyrighted a book too, and have to rewrite because more has happened. Are you talking about the Watts case, Cynthia? Yeah, Bebop. And this is what's really sad is the town I was robbed in is just a small little town. Like nothing like that happens like that around here. And of course, I'm 43 years old now, and this was when I was 18. So it's been 25 years ago. And wow, it's hard to believe it's been that long ago, but at the time it was crazy. Your life. Oh yeah. And that's pretty cool. I've always thought it would be really cool that, I don't think my life would be exciting enough to write about. Some people's told me I should write a book, but I don't think there's anything really exciting in my life to write a book about. But I think if your life's exciting enough to write a book and people want to buy it, that's awesome, Kimberly. My daughter is 13. She can shoot a gun, she can unload it, she can reload it, she can break it down and clean it. I've told my daughter for a long time, a restraining order is just a piece of paper. And a piece of paper is not going to stop somebody if they want to harm you or kill you. Guns don't kill people, guys. People kill people. Oh, I believe you completely, Cynthia. I really do. I probably said that wrong. A lot of times I say stuff, and then after I say it, I realize it didn't sound like it should have. I didn't mean that in a bad way or anything. In a way that meaning your life was exciting because of that. Don't get me wrong, please. Let's see. Yeah, everyone does. Hey, Temple, also, I seen you earlier. I was going to thank you if I seen you on. I appreciate you having my back today. Temple Doyle, he seen the comments that Detective Halverson was doing to me. It was pretty bad, which I tell you guys, I think it's ironic that AD preaches against hate channels, but yet his subscribers go out and attack people like they attacked me today, which doesn't bother me. I'm going to go lay my head down tonight and sleep like a baby. And that's the God's honest truth. There's nothing they say to me is going to bother me that bad. Oh, I believe he was, Temple. He really was. He was sure in the wrong place. He was wanting to... yeah, that's another thing, guys. I forgot this till Temple said this just now. Detective Halverson actually accused me of being Jim, NK's friend today, and wanted to know why NK told the detectives to leave me alone. He, honest to God, asked me that. I could screenshot it and show it to you guys in comments. Detective Halverson said, I must be NK's friend, Jim, and wanted to know why NK had told them to leave me alone. Wanted to know why. And then it said guilty question mark. And I was like, sorry, bud, I'm not Jim. I couldn't believe it. I don't think he's a real detective. My mouse is froze up. His detective Halverson, it's Halverson. I don't think he's a real detective. I see him on AD's channel all the time, commenting on there and always giving him super chat. So, how does super chat even work? I really don't know. I mean, I know that you push the button, but like for instance, if somebody gives AD super chat, how does he have his bank account linked to that? Because I was counting it up tonight, and in like the first 15 minutes, he had gotten over like $100 just in super chat in like the first few minutes. Hello, Mercy Minded. How are you? Oh yeah, hey, the lady that was going nuts on me today. She said that all I had was old ladies wearing wet Depends diapers that couldn't wipe their own ass watching my channel. I just couldn't believe how vicious they were. I think my phone's locked up because I'm no longer getting comments on my phone. So if you guys say something and I don't say anything back, I appreciate that, Bagel. A lot of people comment about my voice, and to be honest with you guys, I have always hated my voice. I've always thought I sounded like such a hick. Hey, a hippie chick. I thought so too. I thought I sounded a lot like an Australian, but I was trying, right? It's hard to cover up Kentucky accent, believe me when I tell you that. Thank you, Mercy Minded. I appreciate that. Like I said, I just did a parody of AD. I don't know why everybody's so... Well, thank you, Mrs. Jane. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I've always... Like, you know how like when you talk or, you know, when you sing to yourself, you think you sound like Whitney Houston? Well, not in my case, but... You know, you always think you sound like the most award-winning singer on the radio at the time when you're singing to yourself in the shower. Well, I always thought, you know, if I heard my voice on a recording or anything like that, that it always sounded so southern and just rednecky, and I just completely freaking hated it. So, I appreciate you guys saying that. A lot of people say it too, so thank you so much for that. And believe me, guys, if you have a bad comment or a negative comment, I don't delete it. I'll leave it there till eternity. Your opinion's your opinion. I just couldn't believe they would call me the names they called me. I just got... You have never heard me. I hate my accent. What kind of accent do you have, Kimberly M? I guess so, Mrs. Jane. You know, a lot of people say that you sound completely different to other people as you sound to yourself. Sorry, I'm looking over here and trying to talk to you guys here, but what's happened is I'm doing this on my phone and I'm having to look over here to read your comments. So I'm not trying to like be disrespectful and look away. I'm just Gatlinburg, Tennessee accent. Oh, well, that's pretty close to Kentucky, so not much difference. I don't know. Yeah, I was watching the video tonight with Armchair, and he kept going on and on about she's a little bit taller, NK's a little bit smaller, and then people started singing the Skilo song, and it was just really bizarre. Everything about his channel is bizarre to me, and you can't put two still pictures of CCTV footage side by side and say that the one is taller than the other. That's impossible to say. You could have it at a different ratio, like when you zoom in on a picture, you could have it at a different ratio. You could have one up higher than the other and not realize it. You could have one lower than the other and not realize it. 1976, that was the year I was born, Cynthia. He pronounces a lot of things wrong, especially people's names. If people's going to give you money, at least pronounce their name right? There's one woman I've watched give him like $20 a pop, like 10 or 15 times a night. And then there was one guy, what was his friend's name, Pete? They would give him the large amounts of money. He would be, come back, Pete. Where are you, Pete? He wanted Pete back because Pete was giving him so much money. Trust me, guys, when I tell you, Armchair is not doing this case out of love, out of his heart, like he's trying to portray to Frank Rusek in that letter he read to him the other night. That's not. Yeah, these women that fall for him, Jesus. I think a lot of you ladies have a crush on me. Yes, Mercy Minded, there is no way that you could take two stills of CCTV footage side by side and say definitively that one was taller or shorter than the other one. And also to the effect that in the left-hand picture that he's saying is a woman, well, in the right-hand picture, that guy, the person in that picture, had boots with heels on. And then he also said that the jeans were tapered, but also with the jeans being tucked in the boots, how could you tell if they were tapered leg? I don't get that. I don't understand that. I've not heard of the tugboat in Kentucky. I live really close to the Clays Ferry, if you know where that's at. Oh, Temple. Oh, I didn't know that. That does make a lot of sense, Temple. That's a good pickup there. Perhaps you're the real detective, and this Halverson guy and me is just doing parodies. I've never heard of the tugboat, but I have been on the. I think it's in Stearns, Kentucky. The train. Have you ever been to the train in Stearns, Kimberly? Oh my God. When he read that letter to Mr. Rusek, where he was so over dramatic, and he acted like he was wiping tears, and he got up and had to walk around and ask his spanners, please get somebody on. That almost made me sick to my stomach, because that's not a letter you write to somebody that you're trying to, get to respond to you and put your differences aside or whatever. He kept talking about the shadows still. He kept saying, I did this for your daughter. Just all kinds of disgusting stuff. Oh yeah, ain't that the movie with Loretta Lynn? Something about where they use the word horny, and she's talking about baloney. How's that go? I know you know what I'm talking about, Kimberly, because it's in that letter. The letter was very inappropriate in my opinion, but hey, that's my opinion. A lot of his subscribers were like, "AD, every tear we shed with you," and I'm sitting there thinking, "Are you seriously?" Yeah, coal miner's daughter. What is it she says, where she's like, "I'm really horny today," and they had substituted the word baloney or something, and her husband looks at her like, "Oh my God," and they look at her like, "Oh God, she just said she's horny," and she was meaning something completely, totally different than that. She wasn't really horny. She just was using. It's hilarious. I know you people are probably thinking I'm crazy as hell right now, but Kimberly can vouch for me that this part in this movie is hilarious. Oh, it's hilarious. It is so funny. Well, hopefully, guys, now we all have a place. I guess since we all have something in common that we all can see through in our opinions of AD's real agenda and not solving the case. The cases, I mean, like it or not, in my opinion, I think the Chris Watts case is completely closed. I do believe that. If they're investigating NK or this guy Jim, that could possibly, they still might possibly be looking into them. I don't know. It would be, Kimberly, I do. I believe he had help, whether it was directly or indirectly. I don't. I just don't see him doing this by himself. Oh, I know, Temple. His agenda is to pay his bills. That's like I told that Detective Halverson guy today. I was like, look, I just do this for fun and for shits and giggles. I have a full time job. I don't come on here begging for my rent money. Oh, the funniest thing I've seen that he done is when he's got the earpods in and he's like, "Hello, Tommy. Hello, Governor of the Penitentiary." That is so damn funny. And then he tries to go and tell people that he didn't do it when there's video proof of him doing it. Kimberly, I kind of think that too. And I honestly think that the 111-minute phone call was NK dialed him, left the phone laying at her flat, and went to his house. I kind of do believe that. And they got a lot of quickies in the way it sounded, like 4 and 5 times a day. Jesus Christ. I mean, I like a cigarette every now and then, but I take it out of my mouth every once in a while. Yeah, the same. I think the same thing too. He thinks if he reads the book on Patreon that he's not violating copyright laws. Yeah, I don't think the case is. I don't think everybody that's responsible has been held accountable. I really don't. Yeah, there's something odd about this Trent Bolt character, no doubt. Yeah, Cynthia R. That's another thing I think's funny all the time is the fact that he says he's vindicated Shannon, but yet when the book comes out, it's going to vindicate Shanann. And then when he writes the letter to Mr. Rusek, it's going to vindicate Shanann. So has he vindicated her, or is she still to be vindicated in the future? He contradicts himself. And it's only for clickbait. Like, for instance, he knows something about the case, but he's not going to tell you till tomorrow night. So, like, tune in, guys. The Delphi case, wow. You know, that it's hard for me. I would love to do the Delphi case. The only thing I'm going to say is it's scary for me, the Delphi case, is because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and the fact that the way she takes pictures and videos with her phone, I could just see that picture being taken, my daughter doing something like that. But tell me something, guys. How is the Delphi case not solved? I mean, they said they think the guy's local. That's a pretty good picture of him, and they've got a sound clip of his voice. And another thing I couldn't understand about that case is if you have more evidence, I can understand not releasing evidence when it's going to possibly hurt your case in the future. But if you've gone a full year and you have more evidence that could possibly lead you to more suspects, or even uncovering more evidence, more leads, why not release some more of that evidence you have to try and further the case? I didn't understand why they waited so long on that. Yeah, who is the friend of Shanann's that he's supposed to be interviewing? I've heard him say that too, but he's never said who it is. I doubt any friends of Shanann's would go on his show. I definitely know Frank Rusek will not go on his show. Hey guys, if you don't care to like my video, subscribe to my channel, share, please. Maybe I can get 43,000 subscribers and we can have a really fun time. Been alive for almost 3 years. Oh, I know the maybe Delphi suspect has relatives with power. Could be. Gray Hughes has. I think I watched a thing with Gray Hughes who done something on the Delphi case. Oh my God, in my parody, I said the same thing. I said, when I was acting like I was reading my letter, I said, Mr. R, I called him Mr. R because I didn't want to disrespect him, and I know he's been through a lot. I said, Mr. R, you don't realize how much money I would make if you would come on one of my lives. It just makes me want to puke in my own mouth and swallow it. Someone told, oh, I know, him call people idiots, and it's something else. You can argue, but I'm right, you're wrong. I don't care. I've proven this. The facts say I've proven it. You're wrong. I'm right. That burns me up. And another thing, I said this on my parody too. He keeps saying that he's in constant contact with Mr. R, but yet after he reads the letter, he says, if somebody can get that letter to Mr. R for me. Now, if you're in constant contact with Mr. R, wouldn't you be able to get it to him yourself? Just a question. Yeah, I know, Kimberly. I'm getting bounced around here. I'm trying to read everyone's comment, and I think I watched something with Gray Hughes on the Delphi case. But the Delphi case is scary to me just for the simple fact I have a daughter that age. I have a daughter 13, and it scares me to death knowing that a grown man might be sitting in wait on a girl that age. It just scares me to death. What could possibly a grown man be turned on by a 13-year-old girl? You have to be sick in the head. Jewels of thought. Oh, I watched a another parody today. I was going to tell you guys. I just remembered when I read that comment. There is one. It took me a minute to find it because she put in one of her comments on my parody to watch her. Um, Her channel is called A period, like the initial A period Kennedy, and it's Grumpy Granny, and she does a parody where she's sitting on the toilet doing the Armchair Detective, and I mean it is hilarious. I watched the whole thing. I subscribed to the channel after I watched it. If you guys want to watch something funny, watch that one. Oh, he is. And the people that's on his lives are just blowing his head up even bigger. Oh, he is thoroughly convinced that he is going to be offered his own TV show or be paid to do a documentary. Yeah, I've watched that girl, Kimberly. I'm actually subscribed to her. But I think I get tickled when, he says he wouldn't ever do TV because he wouldn't be allowed to be himself. He would, if he was on the mainstream media, he would have to be told what to say. He couldn't actually say what he thought, so he would never do a TV show. But then yet he talks about constantly, and one day he's going to get his own TV show. He contradicts himself too much. Yeah, did Zap Girl? Somebody told me that she got suspended over playing that documentary on her channel. Okay, I I heard from somebody. She's one I watch every now and then, and I do like her. Another one I watch sometimes, but I don't really understand is Mommy's Ramblings. Have you all watched that channel any? I'm giving her a shout out. Wow, 3 months over just watching. Wow. She should have just told everybody to watch it and then come on after the show, and then everybody go over their thoughts of the show. Yes, I seen that too. Somebody said that the psychologist he has on is not really a psychologist. It's a poker player. That's a friend of his. Somebody told me that the AD, he's telling everybody he won the trip and that his hotel and stuff's been paid for. But then yet he downgrades hotels. But somebody told me that he actually paid for him and some of his friends with his Patreon money. Which, if people donate you money, it's your money to do what you want with. But don't tell people you won the trip and be going on their dime. You know what I mean? I blame the people that give him the money just as much as I blame him. Yeah, he said something tonight earlier too when $5 my ass. You're right. And then after he said $5, he also said $10, and then he said £5. So he said 3 different prices. And the funny thing is, if you won a prize that included a 5-star hotel, why would you downgrade and pay for a lower grade hotel out of your own pocket? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, somebody was talking about how he took his money. And like I said, if people donate money to you, it's yours to do what you want with. But, if they're donating under the impression that you're going to be making a documentary or that you're going to be filming a 6-part docu-series or even other stuff to do with your channel, that doesn't include taking you and your buddies on a poker tournament. And if I was one of his patrons, I would be pretty pissed off about that if I was. Just FYI. Well, anyway, guys, I just noticed I've been on for 1 hour and 20 minutes, and I just looked, and my phone's about to die. and I would have went off here with no notice, and you guys would have been like, well, that was rude. And I would have said, yes, it was. So before my phone dies, I'm going to tell you all good night. And I can go on tomorrow, but it will be after probably around 1 a.m. Eastern time. If that's too late for you guys, you could just maybe watch it Tuesday morning, or just whenever you got the chance. Thank you, Temple. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you having my back today. That was really nice of you to come to my aid like that. I really appreciate it. And everything we both told him was very true. But guys, if you want to, tell your friends about me. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Until the comments get so many that I can't answer, I'll answer every one of them. And I do have a Patreon. I'm not going to beg for money. If you want to check it out, it's www.patreon.com/Bron Moxley. That's all I'm going to say about it. Thank you. I feel weird even mentioning it, but I do want to put it out there that I have one. And I really would like to do more. And bye, Missy. It was good talking to all you guys. I really do mean that. There's 25 people here, so I can't say bye to you individually, but I really do love all you guys. And I'm glad you take time out of your day to spend with me and to comment with me. And I loved our discussion. We bounced around on a lot of different stuff, but I liked it. I hope you guys did. And like I said, I'll go live tomorrow night. And if you can't watch it then, just watch it when it's whenever it's convenient for you. Good night, you guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, Kimberly. It was good talking to you. Hold Tennessee down for me. Take care. Bye, guys.